Good afternoon and welcome to the Nantucket Sports Connection and NCTV's presentation of Nantucket Whalers Athletics. We are coming to you live from Vito Capizzo Stadium for today's girls varsity lacrosse game as your Whalers host the Monomoy Sharks in a battle of co-league champs. That's right, both teams share a divisional championship. So great stuff. A rematch of a very competitive game off island just on Friday afternoon as well. And I will note it was a Whalers 8-4 win. I am Chris Morris, the voice of Whalers sports on the NSC and NCTV, alongside a skinny crew today, baby. Sean Davis helped us get set up. Charles is still traveling on his whirlwind tours of graduation. So it's Weston Scott and I hanging out here up in the field house. But we got you all set up. Shawnee's got us all set up. I even have a checklist of things. It's amazing. The Whalers come in 10-4. They're riding a 3-game win streak into this afternoon's matchup against Monomoy, who dropped to 11-4 after losing to Nantucket on Friday. Both teams in position for postseason play. In fact, both in basically the top tier in that top 16. So both will host a game. We'll talk about that shortly. Again, a great matchup. This should be a very competitive game. Whalers going to be still a little shorthanded. Again, they've had a grinder of a schedule. We'll talk about that as well. So before we get into our game preview, I do want to take a moment and thank our founding sponsor for the sports here on the NSC and NCTV, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation. They've made the children of Nantucket High School a priority of their philanthropic efforts and have continued those efforts with their support of our live broadcast. The Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, proud supporters of Whalers Athletics.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit MyrickLaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
In 1965, a group of dedicated Nantucket parents came together with one goal: to raise enough money to develop game film for the football team. The following season, the Whalers went undefeated. These parents became the very first class of the Nantucket Booster Club. Over time, Whaler pride has grown into something far more than just wins and losses on the scoreboard.
Once a Whaler, always a Whaler! 1, 2, 3, Whalers!
Una vez un Whaler, siempre un Whaler! Vamos!
What binds us is Whaler pride. It has shaped our island and student athletes for generations.
Whaler pride isn't just a tradition, it's an identity, a legacy for families who choose to plant their roots here in this community all year round. It can bring generations of island families together, and for Wash Ashore children, it can transform an unfamiliar place into a new home. The Nantucket Booster Club is a vital link between our community and Whalers Athletics. It helps provide our teams with gear, additional travel expenses, and much more.
Volunteering for the Booster Club, it's a blast. From the homecoming to the pig roast, and most importantly, Hank, our school mascot. We're here to create a fun and welcoming atmosphere. More than money, we need members. And part of this club, you are a member, not just a volunteer. We need to build our community bigger and better to help our student athletes prepare for the next chapter in their life.
Support our kids and Whaler pride by volunteering for the Booster Club. To learn more, please email the address on the screen.
Want to welcome you back to Vito Capizzo Stadium as the girls continue their pregame warm-ups. The Whalers are by far playing their best lacrosse at the exact right time. They've survived most of a grueling schedule here in May already. Weather postponements clogged up the schedule here, and this will be their 10th game in 19 days. And with a win today, they would improve their record in those 10 games to 7-3, and that includes wins over CCA off-island, Bridgewater Raynham right here, avenging a game that they lost off-island, a very competitive game, a win over Falmouth, and will have swept Monomoy for the season. And man, it has been a total team effort. I was able to talk with Coach Lower before the game, and I had to just say, you know, you've had a lot of wins. She's had a lot of wins, like Final Four appearances, you know, Elite Eights over the last few years here as well. But this team has to be one of the most satisfying teams overall, because nobody really expected to be talking about tournaments, co-league championships, all sorts of stuff with the graduating class that happened last year. I mean, it was just a superb class of extremely elite level, you know, Division I college lacrosse players. To back that up certainly is a testament to what Coach Lower has been able to get out of these girls, and it has been a total team effort indeed. Offensively, Mason Lower and Mia Bodette, man, they can just muscle through most defenders to get those hands free, and Mason coming off a 2-goal and 3-assist game against the Sharks off-island. But I have to say, it has been the improvement and continued improvement and just the poise of freshman Louisa Benny that continues to impress me the most. She's actually recognized by the Cape Cod Times as the Freshman of the Week, along with Maddie Lombardi, who we'll talk about here in a second on the defensive side of things. But her poise is well beyond her years, and man, she can rifle it. She's got a left-handed stick. She poses as a real weapon. She had a 6-goal game against CCA earlier last week as well, so I look for her to contribute, not only scoring goals, but helping facilitate as well. But she's just got such a soft touch with those hands. It's great to see. Defensively, again, the Whalers have probably one of the most athletic ball-hawking groups around our region, certainly in our league, and certainly amongst the best in the state. Again, featuring the Defensive Player of the Week for the Cape Cod Times, Maddie Lombardi. I did hear that she is not going today, so that will be a key cog for the Whalers on the defensive end. But man, they've got others that will certainly step in there to protect sophomore Ella Douglas in net. She allowed a season-low goal total Friday of just 4 goals versus Monomoy. That's the season low that she's allowed, and it's a season low for Monomoy scoring-wise as well. So she'll once again, and just throughout here, we've got playoff games coming up here throughout the rest of the schedule as the Whalers look to try and lock up a spot here in that top 8, which would be great. But first and foremost, they got to stop a very loaded offense. This Monomoy team scored nearly 200 goals. But for Coach Jamie Lower, her final season at the helm of the varsity program here, I got to say this. I'm going to say it a few times here. This might be the most satisfying team if they can actually put together a nice little run in the tournament. They have earned a share of the league title after going on the road and taking down that CCA team. And again, fighting for every point they can get to stay in that top 8, which of course for us, in my selfishness, equals 2 home games, 2 more lacrosse games that we get to watch this team and watch Coach Lower and her squad. They're number 7 right now. New rankings will come out tomorrow, so we'll see. Again, this is a matchup of 2 high quality and top 12 teams. Again, Monomoy comes in at number 11. So they are actually just playing their best lacrosse here at the exact right time. For Monomoy, head coach Brendan Purcell and his squad are ranked number 11, as I said, in Division 4, in position to win a share of the Lighthouse Division of the Cape and Islands League. And they have 250-point scorers in Paige Nash and Abiel Long. They both recorded those 100 goal scores and 150 points earlier last week, so they are coming off a couple of wins as well, leading a potent offense that has 7 seniors on it, including Nash, Lucy Bates, Cassidy Manchuk, all 3 of whom are captains for Coach Purcell. Junior Morgan Willis will protect the net for the Sharks. She's wearing number 20, even though I have her as a different number on our roster. That's okay. I clarified that. And they will obviously be a little more motivated today, avenging a loss off island just 3 days ago. So a matchup of tournament-bound teams here this afternoon, and we're happy that you are along here for the ride. Again, Nantucket coming in at number 5, and the Sharks at number 11. Both would host a postseason game if all things remain equal. If they win their opening round game, the Whalers would also host that Sweet 16 game, assuming they remain even just in that top 8. So we got some more games for you before all that happens. The Whalers with 2 more after this, both at home, and we'll get into our very busy week here on the NSC and NCTV, tomorrow being our only day off until Saturday. So opening draw coming up here. As you can see, the Whalers getting their final instructions from Coach Lower, and the Sharks circling up as well. See what I did there? So we're happy to have you along, and again, I gotta give kudos to my partner in crime here, Weston Scott. Hammy, we miss you. Sean, we miss you, but understand we got other commitments, and that's just the way it works here in the springtime. And Charles, I know, is traveling back from his excursions into the Boston educational areas. Sent a couple of photos of some cool stuff, including Pedro Martinez is one of the keynote speakers, and Joe Castiglione, one of the keynote speakers at Bryant College as well, earned an honorary degree for doing so as well. Obviously, he being one of the legendary broadcaster voices of the Red Sox for many, many years. We did, however, sit next to the booth that he broadcasted from when we were able to sneak up there for the game, the Island Cup game at Fenway. So we are just about ready here for the opening draw. I'm going to welcome all of you from the other side as well, catching the Sharks here in action off island. Once again, you are watching Whalers Sports here on the NSC and NCTV on channel 1072 for those tuning in here on television. And it will be one of those aforementioned seniors, Cassidy Manchuk against Mason Lower here in the X. It'll be our opening draw. Whalers Nation, are you ready? Game number 14 for the Whalers here. Once again, another home game for the beginnings of senior week. Gotta love it. Just had the junior prom a couple nights ago. And we're gonna celebrate some seniors here in a couple more games as the final games of the regular season finish up here in a busy May. We are underway from Vito Capizzo Stadium. Battle for the ball. Looks like Mason Lower is going to be the first to it as she advances into the offensive end. Wearing number 25 in the whites. Lower gives it up and gets it right back. So a little 2-person game there. Here's Mia Bodette, still slightly hobbled with an ankle injury from a few days ago. Here's an advance by Damien. Runs through, shot wide. Bodette's back there to save the possession. Nicely done. Good job. Great shot. Just missed it. Tried to go low. Here's Bodette to put it in. Just underway here. Whalers' first possession of the game. Pass blocked. It'll be picked up by Dylan Damien. Good heads-up play there. Here's Grace Hanlon. Little give and go. Gets a sort of a screen for Mason Lower. She'll advance to the right. Tough pass, and that'll go through. Scooped up by the defense. And the Sharks are on the run. Looking to clear. Trailing the play, the Whalers defenders get back. Carly Ray hounding. And the Sharks get it set up. Manchuk holds. Again, both teams, excellent communication. There's number 10, Paige Nash, with that yellow stick, yellow net. Ball down. Quickly scooped up and recovered. That's Lucy Bates, again, another one of those seniors. And there's an errant pass. So both teams with a turnover on their first possession. Clock continuing to run just under 10 minutes here. First quarter, here's Maya Johnson to put it in for the Whalers. She gets it up to Bodette. Bodette will gain the zone. Oh, high pass over the head of Dylan Damien. Looks like she had the zone, but 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for the Whalers. Let's see if the Sharks can get something going here. No, nice catch on the run. Oh, nice spin, nice roll dodge. Good movement along the sidelines there for Cassidy Manchuk, and she'll sprint it into the zone. And whistle resets it for the Sharks. Here's an opportunity, shot, and a score. So the Monomoy Sharks draw first blood. I don't have number 7 on our roster, so I'm not sure exactly who scored the first goal. We'll just call it number 7. So the Sharks score first here and hold a 1-0 lead with 8:56 to play in the first quarter. Coming to you live from Vito Capizzo Stadium. Mason Lower back in the X against Manchuk. Whalers won the first draw control. And Lower reaches up and grabs it. Fights through a little bump. And Bodette unable to gather it, and another turnover. So a little sloppy here on offense again. We'll have to see. They did not practice for a couple days, so we'll see if there's any little bit of rust here perhaps. And just again, a lot of games in a lot of days. So, oh, nicely done. Oh, looked like Louisa Benny got away with it. But unfortunately, the whistle will give it back to Monomoy. Here's a loose pass. Zadroga, a little too aggressive. So the Sharks get another opportunity. Here's number 7. She scored the first goal. She'll make a move to the left, gets it jarred away. She'll have an opportunity from the 8s. Run in. Low shot finds the hole. Wow. Looked like Douglas was there, but number 7 able to score another goal. 2-0 Monomoy with 7:52 officially on the clock. We'll let ours run down to that as things get set up. As Mason Lower will make her way to the X. And she is drawing against number 7, whomever that is. It might be Ariel Long, I don't know. We don't have a correct information, but so a couple of whistles, the Sharks will get into the zone. Ball down momentarily. Nice job by Lower to jar it loose. Sharks move it around behind the net. Here's a run through. Low shot, wide. Whalers are there. Oh, they give it to the Sharks. Yeah, they give it to Nantucket. Great hustle on the defensive side. And let's see if they can turn it into a transition here, but they turn it over again. So 5 turnovers already for the Whalers. They're going to have to correct that, and quickly. Cannot score if you turn it over. And the Whalers will get a little bit of a free run here as Sophia Sullivan gets it crossed up. And 6th turnover by the Whalers. Good defense by the Whalers there to avoid another goal. Monomoy scoops it up. Right in front. Low shot whizzes by, but draws a whistle. Monomoy already up 2-0, looking for a third goal from the 8th. Shot save, Ella Douglas. Got a clean look again off the stick. Carly Ray able to avoid 3 defenders and now looking for some help. Has Bodette at midfield if she can see it, but she decides to take it all the way, and take it all the way she does. Great individual clear there by number 18, Carly Ray. 2-0, Whalers down with an opportunity. Here's Mason Lower with a little bit of space. Loses it. Pass goes again off the sticks of the Whalers. And turnover number 7. Unbelievable. And finally the Whalers get it and slam it home. Grace Hanlon finds the net as the Whalers were in the midst of another turnover. But Monomoy unable to clear, and the Whalers pull back to within a goal at 2-1, 4:42 left on the clock officially. And it'll be Mason Lower back in the X, looking for another draw control. So a little bit of sloppiness by the Whalers have led to a couple of goals for Monomoy, and some gamesmanship in the circle between Mia Bodette and whomever number 7 is. Again, I'm just going to go with that is Ariel Long until proven wrong. Bounce goes to Hanlon, and Lower able to scoop up the ground ball and is on the run. Whalers can tie it up here if they can take advantage of this possession. Pass deflected, but Whalers hang on to it. Hanlon tips it forward. And another turnover. That's turnover number 8. So Nantucket still unable to crisply run their offense. And fortunately, Monomoy hasn't taken too much of advantage. There's another turnover by Monomoy. And the Whalers can put it in. Here's Dylan Damian with some space. Pass to Hanlon. Nice crisp pass there. Carly Ray gets it over to... And here's Bodette. She makes an aggressive move. Clogging up the middle, but the shot goes in, and she makes her way around the net and scores. Mia Bodette with a great individual effort. Gets it by Morgan Willis, and we're tied at 2 with 3:35 and counting in the first quarter. So the Whalers counter with a couple of goals after the Sharks had scored the game's first 2 goals. And we're knotted up at 2. It'll be Bodette in the X here. Facing off, I believe that's Manchuk in the X for Monomoy. This is definitely one of the most awkward face-off things in any sport. And great job by Bodette, right to Lower. That's to the head twice. And lower, unforeseen defender behind her. And Bodette ends up with it. She powers her way through one, and we'll have an opportunity from the 12 to put it in. Clock continues to run, approaching 3 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Tied at 2. Again, a battle of two division champions, each sharing their respective division championships. Bodette surveys, now makes a move. And tough pass handled. Oh, nicely done by Carly Ray. Here's Bodette once again behind the net. She netted one here just a second ago. Passes it to Hanlon in some traffic, unable to connect. Sharks on the run. Nicely done by Zadroga. Jars it loose and grabs it. Great play by number 24 on the defensive side of things. Whalers look to attack. They swing it. Sullivan. And the Whalers are on the run. Here's Benny with 2 minutes to go in the first. The left-handed freshman gives it up to Bodette. Oh, nice move by the Sharks there. Jumping the pass. Benny's in there. She's got it. And recovers the possession. Great hustle by number 31. Bodette surveys. Here's a pass. Damien catch, shoot, score! Beautiful! And acknowledged by the steamship with a horn. Whalers up 3-2. Still a minute 43 and counting. Or I should say on the clock. So the Whalers have responded with 3 straight goals here after the Sharks scored the first 2 to open the game. Great pass by Bodette. Mia Bodette controls the draw. Whalers looking to add to their 3-2 lead here at the end of the first quarter. A minute and a half for them to operate. After 8 turnovers here in the first quarter, they still respond with 3 goals to take the lead. Here's Hanlon with a good cut. Bodette surveys. Damien off her stick. Bodette recovers. Good awareness. Little fake flip. Bodette advances. Gets hacked. Nothing. Bodette controlling, rolling, and finally draws a whistle from the 8s. So Mia Bodette will have an opportunity. Clock stopped momentarily with 57 seconds as she switches sticks. Yep, she had the face-off stick. Now she'll get the attack stick and run in with an opportunity from the 8s to give the Whalers a 2-goal lead. Goaltender Morgan Willis getting some words from encouragement. Pass goes in. Oh, great pass. Damien stopped. Wow, what a save from point blank range. Great pass, but Dylan Damien denied. 45 seconds and counting for the Sharks now on the other side of things. Paige Nash advances into the zone. She'll make a run in. Denied. Down to 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. Anchuk makes a move to the right, has some space, makes another move. Around lower, shot, save, or off the post. Down to 15 seconds. Run in, denied. Pass goes in front. And that'll do it for the first quarter. Great job by the Whalers defense to stop things from getting tied back up. We'll take a very quick break here on the NSC and come back with more live action from Vito Capizzo Stadium. Whalers battle back after being down early to take a 3-2 lead.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit myricklaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
I want to welcome you back to live action here at Vito Capizzo Stadium as we all get set up for our second quarter of play. Whalers battle back from a 2-0 deficit as wearing number 7, and I'm just going to say it's Abriella Long. I don't know that for sure, so I apologize to the Monomoy folks if it is someone else, but our away jersey numbers are different than the jerseys numbers that we were given here on the roster. She scored twice, and then the Whalers countered with 3 goals from Dylan Damian, Mia Bodette, and Grace Hanlon. As we once again have a very competitive game between these two teams. They just met on Friday off island. It was an 8-4 final. Again, Whalers playing without the talents of Maddie Lombardi, one of the key cogs, Defensive Player of the Week from the Cape Cod Times. And the Whalers able to win another draw control. They begin the second quarter with a possession. They started the game with 8 straight turnovers. Here's Bodette. Had some room to the right, decides to hold it up. Hanlon gives it back to Bodette. She makes work. Moves around, high shot, save made. And a deep outlet over the head and over the sticks. That'll go all the way back to Maya Johnson. She overruns it and finally gets it. Reboots. And the Whalers can get something going. Here's Wisentanner. She'll give it up to Johnson. Tip pass to Grace Hanlon. Good concentration to stay with it. And the Whalers are advancing. Benny now gains the zone with a head of steam. Just underway here, second quarter, 3-2, the Whalers with the lead and the ball. Perriner over to Bodette. Bodette back to Hanlon, top of the zone. Makes her way to the 8s. There's Mason Lower. Dylan Damian. As the Whalers show good poise and patience here on offense. Nice grab by Damian off the little screen, and Lower's got room, shot, score! Great screen there as Mason Lower got the hands free and fired it past goaltender Morgan Willis, and the Whalers extend the lead to 4-2. Great job by Mason Lower to capitalize on some free space. And the Whalers extend that lead. They've scored 4 straight now. Mia Bodette in the X, trying to win another draw control. Looks at Mason Lower and fight for it. Nicely done by Gabriella Long. Whistle. And Long quickly gets it up, bounces it. Ground ball, ball down. Nice scoop by Manchuk. She avoids a couple or gets some contact from a couple of Whalers. And Lucy Bates. Hounded. Avoids the nagging from Mason Lower. And here's Paige Nash. Very distinguishable yellow netting on her stick. She cut through as the Sharks push it behind the net. Showing some patience of their own. Whalers hold the 4-2 lead, but Monomoy looking to take advantage of another possession. You can see Lucy Bates calling out the rotation here. Looking for a pick. Good switch by Maya Johnson. A little bit of space, but Ella Douglas is back there, and the Whalers will gain possession on the missed shot. Good defense once again shown by the Whalers. Oh, they called Maya Johnson for an illegal pick. So Monomoy will put it in, forcing another turnover by the Whalers. So the Whalers are right back on defense and will have to recover as Maya Johnson had to sprint from behind the play. Monomoy unable to use that to their advantage. And once again, the Whalers get set up in their defense. Here's a pass, deflected by Johnson. And Wisentanner on the run. She avoids one, looks for some friend, has it in Louisa Benny. Benny sprints ahead of the defender, and here's Bodette with numbers. 4-on-4. She rolls out, has the advantage, shot, score! Great finish by Mia Bodette, but it was Louisa Benny to avoid some coverage and continue the transition from defense to offense. And real quickly, the Whalers turn that defense into another goal and extend the lead to 5-2 with 7:45 left here in the first half. Again, character by this Nantucket team after falling behind 2-0 did not faze them. They've ripped off 5 in a row. 8 turnovers as well. Had to be frustrating. Here it is, nice pass, give it up for Mason Lower. She's got a head of steam, runs through a couple of defenders, gives it up in front, Damien. Oh, point blank save. Wow. Lazy pass, however, ball down, Bodette able to not get to it. Whalers had a chance there. And here's Lucy Bates with the ball. She bounces it. And Whalers able to scoop. Hanlon with the recovery. Oh, nicely done. Oh, wow. Looked like a good defensive play there, but Hanlon will put it in. She's got to go behind the play. Doesn't do so, but Benny is able to get to it. And the Whalers have another possession, looking to extend the lead from 5-2, under 7 minutes to play. Pass in front. Unable to whip it. But the Whalers are there. Carly Ray able to save the possession. There's a pass. Damien runs out of trouble. Gives it up to Lower. Good cut by Louisa Benny. But again, the Whalers can use some clock here. Already up 5-2. Oh, good cut. Catch. Shot. Score! Carly Ray nets one. And the Whalers extend the lead and Coach Purcell's going to take a timeout. We're going to keep it right here, though. 6:21 left on the clock. We'll adjust hours. More importantly, the Whalers have extended the lead to 6-2 as Carly Ray got into the fun, finding a pass from Mason Lower to extend the lead to 6-2. Again, we've just begun here this week, last week of the regular season, and we've got our game tonight. Then we're back at it. As long as the weather can hang out here, we'll be doing a doubleheader, baseball and lacrosse on Wednesday. Baseball will take on Cape Tech. They've got a great season going. If, and it's a big if because, you still got to win games here. If they can run the table and get to 10-10 on the season, they will have an opportunity to play some postseason baseball, which would be fantastic strides for Coach Pearson and his gang. They've got a great group. They've got a really solid group, and they can certainly, it would be a small upset to take down the Vineyard. They have to play them twice in Cape Tech. So a Vineyard game off island, and then a Vineyard game to finish up things here on Monday, Memorial Day. So what better way to spend your Memorial Day but to watch the Whalers with an opportunity to win and move into the postseason as a play-in. That would be fantastic stuff. Thursday, the boys finish out their regular season against Boston Latin, and then the girls conclude their regular season against a good St. John Paul Lion team, and then the Vineyard on Saturday of Memorial Day. So again, a full week of action here on the NSC and NCTV. It'll be good to get Charles and the gang back in action. He was off doing some graduation work, did 6 graduations in 4 days, so he was not taking time off, that's for sure. He was quite a busy guy, and be glad to have him back. Hopefully we didn't screw too much up while he was away. But thanks again for joining us here on the NSC on YouTube. And of course, if you're able to join us locally here on channel 1072 on your television cable box, Comcast box. I will say, I do see Bailey Lower down here. I'm going to try and finagle a conversation with her here in the second half. Of course, she playing at the next level at Vanderbilt. Her season done, and get a little insight as to the next level. Here's Bodette on the draw control and on the run. Up ahead, good move. Here's a shot and another. Oh, off 2 posts. It looked like it caught both posts. Certainly got one, but another good save. Louisa Benny able to save the possession for the Whalers as we are under 6 minutes to play, and another shot and a score. Suze Perrin with a goal from Bodette. As they extend the goal streak to 7 now after giving up 2 goals to begin the game and turning it over 8 times in the first quarter. The Whalers have rallied and have taken control of this game here in the second quarter. We got a lot of lacrosse to play, but man, they look dominant here in the X. Have not lost a draw control. Defensively have dialed in the players they need to pay attention to, and offensively they have taken care of possessions and turned them into, and here's another draw control by Bodette. She gains the zone, gets it up to Claire Genthner. Genthner with a pass to Lower. Lower back to Genthner. Makes a move behind the net. As again, Monomoy settles into their extended matchup zone. And again, here's a pick. Benny with a roll. Genthner on the right side. Good job. Good moving. Movement by the Whalers here. We approach 5 minutes to go. Lower once again. Gives it up to Genthner. Genthner makes a move. Good Catch, Grace Hanlon, shot, score! Bounces it in, great pass, great catch. And the Whalers notch another one and extend the lead to 8-2. And it looked like Monomoy came in here on a charge. They scored the first 2 goals of the game, and it has been all Whalers after that. Bodette surveys where her friends are. She's controlled the last couple here by herself. And we've got 4:53 to play here in the second quarter. Whalers holding an 8-2 lead. Again, the game off island was 8-4 as a final. And the Sharks able to gather this draw control, sprint ahead, shot, save off the post. And quickly the other way come the Whalers. Genther has Bodette up ahead. Oh, nicely played by the Sharks defender. And good avoidance by Paige Nash off the stick. Whalers running after. Flipped up. Here's Suze Perriner. Gets a little tap on the head. No worries. Perriner runs through. Makes a couple of moves, and we'll back it out as the Whalers can once again use some clock with a 6-goal lead. Approaching 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Top of the zone, it's Mia Bodette. Fakes. Gets it over to the right side, flips it over to Benny. Here's Lower. Switches position with Louisa Benny. Nice cut, shot. Ooh, whizzes wide. Whalers got a couple players back there to back it up, though. A good shot as we approach 3 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the second quarter. Oh, tough pass. And the Sharks will get an opportunity to clear here and try and get back in this thing. They're down 8-2 all of a sudden. Whalers have ripped off 8 straight goals. Good roll. Oh, just good stick work there. Finally draws the whistle. She continues in. And a whistle. We'll have an opportunity. So I can hear them saying Tessa, so I'm assuming number 7 is Tessa Gradzicki. Ella Douglas awaits. Shot. Scores. Oh, nearly got a piece of it there. But Gradzicki able to find the net for the 3rd time this afternoon, and she draws the Sharks back to within 5 at 8-3. As she comes trotting off here, she's put in a good first half. 3 goals already. .234 to play here in the first half. Thanks again for joining us here for live girls varsity lacrosse. It's the Whalers taking on the Sharks from Vito Capizzo Stadium. Whalers' 8-goal streak comes to an end after the Sharks finally find the net here with 2:34 left in the second quarter. They went almost a full quarter without scoring. Nicely done by the Sharks on the draw control. That's number 33, Kapka Thompson with the ball. She faces a trio of defenders and will draw a whistle. Kapka up to Bates. And the Sharks can get it set up. Here's Paige Nash. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Nash gets to it. She'll try and make a move. Denied by Maya Johnson. No chance to get through number 9. Gonna have to find another way. Whalers were stifling and a ball down. Whalers able to scoop. Here's Sam Zadroga along the sidelines. Avoids one. Louisa Benny switches back to the left. Has Bodette up as well. And the Whalers got numbers. Here's Bodette finally gathering it. And she'll pull it back out with 1:30. Whalers now have plenty of time to operate on offense. With the lead. Scores 8-3. Bodette avoids one. Rolls back. Double team. Got to be somebody open. Whalers got 3 players behind the net. Finally get it evened up here a little bit. Lower with the pass. Genther loses it. And the Sharks will gain a whistle and try and run the transition. Here's Lucy Bates. Good pass up to Kapka Thompson. Thompson looking for some help, gets to it. Pass in front, shot, save! Ella Douglas with the denial. Still 35 seconds for the Sharks to operate here. Trying to crawl back in this thing after they jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Whalers scored 8 straight. Johnson with the ride. 25 seconds left. Just fantastic defense by number 9 on display. Hanlon. Shot whizzes by, and the Whalers are back there. Time will stop with 5 seconds, 6 seconds. We've got a card. I don't know who it's against, though. The clock shows 6 seconds. That I do know. We haven't gotten an explanation from anyone. But there was a yellow card pulled. And Sam Zadroga's walking off. Pass goes all the way through, and that'll do it for the first half. We'll see about Sam Zadroga. She's in a little bit of pain sitting on the bench there, but the Whalers will trot to the locker room with an 8-3 lead after being down 2-0. They battle back and show that character once again, and scored 8 goals in a row at one point, and we'll go into the locker room with an 8-3 lead. We'll be back in, well, it looks like it's about 7 minutes on the clock here. We'll be back in a few minutes here and talk some more lacrosse. Whalers lead 8-3 at the half.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit myricklaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Nantucket Sports Connection and NCTV over the past few years have done countless broadcasts that are both exciting and professional.
Shot scored! Jack Halleck.
I support NCTV's Nantucket Sports Connection because it's a great opportunity to reach island families, support students, and our local television station.
First hoop, Simpson gathers for Nantucket. Francis over to Aguilar. He'll look for three. Got it! Huge shot from Carp.
In 1965, a group of dedicated Nantucket parents came together with one goal: to raise enough money to develop game film for the football team. The following season, the Whalers went undefeated. These parents became the very first class of the Nantucket Booster Club. Over time, Whaler pride has grown into something far more than just wins and losses on the scoreboard.
Once a whaler, always a whaler. 1, 2, 3 whalers!
Una vez un whaler, siempre un whaler. Vamos!
What binds us is Whaler pride. It has shaped our island and student athletes for generations.
Whaler pride isn't just a tradition, it's an identity, a legacy for families who choose to plant their roots here in this community all year round. It can bring generations of island families together, and for Wash Ashore children, it can transform an unfamiliar place into a new home. The Nantucket Booster Club is a vital link between our community and Whalers athletics. It helps provide our teams with gear, additional travel expenses, and much more.
Volunteering for the Booster Club, it's a blast. From the homecoming to the pig roast, and most importantly, Hank, our school mascot. We're here to create a fun and welcoming atmosphere. More than money, we need members. And part of this club, you are a member, not just a volunteer. We need to build our community bigger and better to help our student athletes prepare for the next chapter in their life.
Support our kids and Whaler pride by volunteering for the Booster Club. To learn more, please email the address on the screen.
I want to welcome you back to live action here at Vito Capizzo Stadium. We're still at the half, but we're going to chat some lacrosse here as we've got a few more games left on the schedule. Also have another baseball game on the docket coming up. We'll be back at it on Wednesday, where we, in theory, have a double dip. Weather obviously is the theory there. Forecasting possibly some rain, so we'll see if baseball can go up, but they will be taking on Cape Tech and taking on the Monomoy Sharks. Also on Wednesday, they will play whether it's raining or not, so we'll at least have some lacrosse for you. Then on Thursday, the Bennis boys finish up their regular season against Boston Latin. And then we've got the girls finishing up their final two games of the regular season against a good St. John Paul Lions team on Friday. And then senior game will be on Saturday as the Vineyard makes their visit to Vito Capizzo Stadium to face a good girls squad, obviously playing very well here in the latter part of the first quarter into the second quarter, holding an 8-3 lead. The Whalers were down 2-0 after who is wearing number 7. It's Tessa Gradzicki. She's actually finished up with all 3 goals scored for the Monomoy Sharks. But she scored 2 goals in a matter of a couple of minutes after a couple of draw control wins and a couple of turnovers. The Whalers were down 2-0. Then they ripped off 8 straight goals. And finally, with 2:34 left in the second quarter, the Sharks added a third tally by Gradzicki from a goal scored from the 8s. For the Whalers, 2 goals scored by Mia Bodette. She leads the way. Dylan Damien, Mason Lower, Carly Ray, Suze Perriner, and Grace Hanlon have all notched single tallies as well. As you can see, the Whalers making their way back onto the field here. We're glad you are with us here on the field as well, wherever you are joining us from. You can chime in on YouTube. Tell us where you're hearing and seeing and watching Whalers action. It's been a great spring season. Yeah, the first part of it kind of goofed around with a little bit of weather, but we've had some great action. And again, we will have postseason lacrosse once we know what that is. The brackets come out on Wednesday, the 20, whatever that is, 26th, 7th, 8th. And then, of course, they have to be finalized, so it's Thursday. I'd say the prelim games would be scheduled then for Friday, and the Whalers will both skip that. Both the boys and girls will skip that round because they have secured spots in that top 16, so they will host at least one game and potentially more if they can advance, which would, obviously be a lower seed. So in all likelihood, those first couple to advance. So we are just about to get underway here in the second half. I'm hearing rumors of possible connection things, but we are beyond that right now as far as trying to figure things out. So we apologize if the picture is not perfect, but we are doing our best here with what we've got. It's just Wes and myself, but we've got 12 minutes on the clock, quarter number 3 underway. Whalers hold an 8-3 lead, looking to pick up win number 11 on the season. So just as they did to begin the game, they begin with possession of the ball. We'll see what adjustments are made, a little give and go behind the net, as Monomoy is extended out that zone, which leaves a lot of space and a turnover right away. But Monomoy unable to clear. Great individual effort there by Mia Beaudet to get that stick around the smaller player, Cassidy Manchuk, and save the possession. Benny scoops it quickly. Gets it back to Hanlon. Shot, scores! Mason Lower with another goal. And just like that, the Whalers take advantage of the first possession and notch another goal. Clock stops with 11:01 officially on the clock. Second goal scored by Mason Lower of the afternoon. And another draw control as Beaudet sprints into the zone. Tipped away, nice defensive play. And that will be a turnover on the Whalers. Oh, nope. Yeah, has to be off Nantucket there. Oh, Beaudet nearly with a steal. And here's Grodzicki. She gets it jarred loose, picks it up, and continues along. And I did forget to mention, up until I looked up at the scoreboard. Whalers have been playing this whole first couple minutes of action down a player, so they scored a shorthanded goal to begin things. Here's a roll through, good shot. Save made by Douglas. So the penalty will expire to Sam Zadroga. She will get back on the field on the defensive end, and she had a injured hand, but looks like she's okay. She's running through, pass goes through, shot, save made or deflected. So again, another good defensive play by the Whalers as Zadroga was able to sprint in and be a part of it. Still 9-3 as we approach 9.5 minutes left. Paige Nash, Sophia Sullivan giving her a little bit of space, now gets up in her grill. Nearly intercepted, ball down and scooped up. Out of bounds to the Whalers. White ball, there you go, now you got it. Clock continues to run, under 9 minutes to play. Whalers in transition here. Louisa Benny avoids one easily. She's got some help. There's Dylan Damian. Off Baudette's stick. And the Whalers will turn it over once again. Here's Grodzicki on the run. Rolls back. Johnson recovers. She runs through everybody and passes it up. Shot. Finally scores. Nice left-handed shot. So 9-4 is our score as the Sharks tally another one. I believe that was Abriella Long, number 12, that scored that goal. But Baudette sprints ahead and goes down. Hopefully she's okay. She's got a bit of a bum ankle, but the Sharks able to get the control of the draw here. Trying to inch their way back in. So we'll stop the clock. We've got a penalty here with 8:06 to play. As Mia Baudette gets a little talking to. We'll see what as the Whalers have another 2-minute penalty to try and overcome here. Louisa Benny, the freshman, guilty of the infraction. So she'll sit for 2 minutes. Whalers with a 9-4 lead. They score shorthanded on their first penalty kill. Sharks sprinted into the zone. Some room, shot, scores. Just a little too much hands free there as the Monomoy player able to run free, so they draw back to within 9-5 after getting basically shut out in that second quarter. They've scored twice here in the third quarter to draw it back to within 4. That was number 13. I don't have a 13 on my roster, so I'm not sure who that is. So 7:55 and counting. Baudette battles for it, and she ends up with it. And the Whalers will look to take advantage and get into double digits here in goals. 9-5 our score. Whalers open the second half with a goal. Monomoy's responded with a couple of goals here to bring it back to within a 4-goal game. Whalers are playing shorthanded, so Monomoy should be doubling the ball here, but they have not done so yet. Tough pass. Grodzicki able to scoop, and she's got the wheels to go the length of the field. Good hustle by Grace Hanlon. Forces her to roll back. Good ride, tip pass, and a little too aggressive was Perriner, apparently. So still 47 seconds left on the penalty. Hanlon slows. Nice little box out there by Grodzicki. And here's Bates. And Whalers down a defender. Pass goes in. All the way through, nothing happening. Down to 25 seconds left on the penalty. Good run through Zadroga, shot, save made. Ella Douglas able to deflect, may have gone off the post. Still 10 seconds left on the penalty to Benny. Three seconds, 2 seconds, shot, whizzes high. Oof, good hustle by the Whalers there, unfortunately to no avail, but the penalty has expired, so the Whalers back to full strength on defense. We're under 6 minutes to play here in the third. Whalers up 9-5. Good pass in front, rolls, nothing doing. Good defense, good positioning. Good double there on Grudzicki, who has 3 goals for the Sharks. Some space, sprints through, a lot of stick contact, no call. And play continues. Sharks still with possession, nice defensive play. Oh, a little too aggressive. It'll be a play in from the 12s here. And another chance for the Sharks. This one will come at the 8s, although they call a charge. So a turnover on the offensive charge. She just blasted in there. That was Cassidy Manchuk, a little too aggressive. She'll have to go behind the goaltender as the Whalers look to transition here. Little hit to the head. Here's Hanlon. And we'll stop the clock here with 4:34 to go. That's going to be a 2-minute penalty. First penalty called on the Sharks. Little hit to the head. So the Whalers will have a power play here. Hanlon going to sprint it ahead to midfield. She'll go all the way, gain the zone. Whalers now on the power play here for the next minute 45. Good pass in off the stick. And it'll be Beaudet gaining it. She makes a move around the edge, loses it. Hanlon battling for it. Benny, and Benny scoops it up. Nice stick-to-itiveness there by the Whalers. Here's Mason Lower, makes a move in. And we'll draw a whistle and some chitter-chatter after the play. As the Monomoy players what is going on? How do they get a chance to just talk to the referee like this? This is, let's play. .339 to go in the third. Whalers with a 9-5 lead, and they should get an opportunity from the 12s here, barring any more conversation. It'll be Coach Lowe calling timeout wisely to gather the troops up here. So the clock will stop with 3:35 left. We'll correct ours here real quick. We're going to keep it here, though, because, you know, we like to talk about lacrosse here a little bit more. Again, want to say hello to my boy, Hammy Hurd. We miss you up here in the booth, and thanks to Sean Davis for getting things set up for us here and getting things going. Unfortunately, those guys are pulled to another engagement. But Weston Scott and I got the thing all wrapped up here. Hopefully the connection's a little bit better and the picture's a little bit better on the back end of things here. And thanks for joining us here in the NSC and NCTV. Again, it was a 2-0 lead by the Sharks to begin the game as the Whalers had to fight off a little bit of rust, I think. They had a couple of days off after junior prom and had 8 turnovers in consecutive possessions, and the Sharks were able to take advantage and jump on the board 2-0. The Whalers countered with 8 straight goals to take an 8-2 lead. Eventually, with 2:34 left, the Sharks able to score another goal to get us to halftime, and then the Whalers notched a goal, and the Sharks have countered with a couple more here in the third quarter, and we stand with 3:35 to go in the third quarter with a 9-5 Whalers lead. They'll have possession and a power play coming out of the timeout. Still 1:01 left on the power play. And again, you can join us again on Wednesday as we will try and do a doubleheader of baseball and lacrosse if weather permits. And then Thursday, the boys face off against Monomoy. Friday, the girls are in action. And Saturday as well, as they wrap up their last few regular season games and position themselves as best they can for a nice run. A couple of games hopefully here at Vito Capizzo Stadium. Lower to put it in, and the clock starts. Whalers still with plenty of time here on the man up. There's Bodette. Good cut, catch, shot, score! Louisa Benny with the left. And Coach Lower draws up a beauty, and the Whalers are able to take advantage and bump that lead back up to 5 at 10-5. Great shot by Louisa Benny, and again, she comes off a week where she was recognized as Freshman of the Week. She notched 6 goals in the game against CCA and has just continued to improve and get more aggressive. Again, that left-handed shot is one that a lot of teams can't recognize in time, so a big weapon for Coach Lower. And again, still 40 seconds. If the Whalers can win this draw control, they can notch another one here as the time is consecutive. Lower able to scoop, and the Whalers can once again take advantage here. Lower powers in, shot, oh, deflected. Nicely done by the goaltender there as Lower had the hands free, close in. Still 20 seconds left on the Whalers power play. Here's the advance by Lower. She'll back it out. And 5 seconds to go. And back to even strength are the Whalers, but here's an opportunity right at the goal mount. Shot and a score! Penalty expires, but the Whalers found an open player and notch another goal. 11-5 now the score. So Monomoy had closed it back to within 4, and the Whalers score 2 more here late in the third to bump that lead back up to 6 at 11-5. So again, a high-powered offense has been shut down. The Sharks come in scoring over 180 goals on the season. But the Whalers defense has been swarming and shut them out for almost a whole quarter. And Lower able to gather as Bodette and her find each other, and Lower's got space here if she wants it. She'll back it out, switch hands, and get the offensive set up. Here's Bodette with a head of steam. She circles back, and clock counts down to 2 minutes here in the third quarter. Whalers back up 6 at 11-5. Here's Bodette, catches it on the run, tries to make a move, denied. Pass in front, couldn't get a clean shot off, was Suze Perriner, I believe. And a whistle will give it to Monomoy. As the clock continues to run, minute 40 left. Good crisp pass there to Paige Nash. She was a little surprised it stayed in the cage. And the Whalers Call for another infraction. Nash looking for some help. Off the stick. Dylan Damian there. And the Whalers now with a minute to operate here on offense can extend the lead. Here's Carly Ray. Benny flips it over to Bodette. Mariner behind the net. Gives it up to Hanlon. 7 different goal scorers for the Whalers as Monomoy looks to make something happen here off the turnover. Up to Nash as Bodette goes down. 25 seconds left here in the third quarter. Tip pass. That'll remain Sharks' ball, but the clock continues to run down under 20 seconds here. Sharks got to hurry up, and they do so. Oh, pass. And the clock will stop with 1.8 to go with an opportunity from the 12s. It'll be Cassidy Manchuk. She's probably got to shoot it here. Let's see if Ella Douglas can come up with a big save on the shot. Shot wide, and that'll do it for the third quarter. We'll take a break here on the NSC. The Whalers battle back once again and hold an 11-5 lead. We'll be back with the fourth quarter of play from Vito Capizzo Stadium. Stay right here.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit myricklaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Want to welcome you back to Vito Capizzo Stadium. As you can see, the Whalers getting their final words of encouragement from Coach Lower as we approach the fourth quarter of play. The Whalers hold a 11-5 lead. It's been about 5 goals since the Whalers ripped off 8 goals in a row midway through the first quarter into the second quarter. Then finally, with 2:34 to go, Monomoy was able to break that streak, but the Whalers have added a few more here, and so have the Sharks in the third quarter. Had a couple of penalties there in the third quarter, including to begin the third quarter, Sam Zadroga was whistled for an infraction for 2 minutes, and the Whalers were able to win the draw control, however, and score a goal shorthanded. So great job by the Whalers, and again, another impressive effort on the defensive side of things for Nantucket. The Whalers have 7 different goal scorers, including freshman Louisa Benny, who's got a goal, a couple by Mason Lower. Mia Bodette has 2 as well. Dylan Damian, Carly Ray, Suze Perriner, and Grace Hanlon by my book, which is, of course, unofficial, each have goals. So 12 minutes on the clock. Once again, Mia Bodette in the X, trying to win yet another draw control. And the Whalers are able to do so and begin the fourth quarter on offense with a 6-goal lead. Again, time is now their friend. Looking for win number 11 and a season sweep of Monomoy. Forcing Monomoy to extend out their defense here as Benny swings it over to Bodette. Grodzicki, who's got a hat trick for the Sharks. Here's a shot and a score. Low angle shot, but Bodette able to turn the corner and lace one. And I believe I missed a goal from Bodette, so I'm going to give her 4, but the one that counts the most is 12, which is up on the scoreboard now as the Whalers extend the lead to 12-5. So it'll be Mason Lower. In the X here as Bodette trots over to the sideline off Lower's stick. And the Sharks control. They are in desperate need of offense here now, down 7 with 11 minutes to go. Good sprint all the way through. Ooh, taking a tumble. And we'll stop the clock here. Oh, no, they call a charge? Wow. I thought that was something on the Whalers, but the Whalers are on offense. Genthner gets it up. And the Whalers can get it set up. It's Louisa Benny on the right side. 10:30 and counting here in the game. Whalers up by 6, actually 7, excuse me. Hanlon behind the net, switches. Here's a good cut. Off the stick though, tough pass. But the Whalers are able to recover. There's Lower, makes a move, shot, oh, unable to rip it. Good defense to jar it loose. And the Whalers, I should say Monomoy, able to force the turnover. And we'll look to get a clear here. Good switch off the stick. And up ahead, Lower gets smacked. And continuing to run is Cassidy Manchuk. Good catch. Good denial by Maya Johnson there. Gabriella Long looked to make a move, but was denied. 12-5 our score. And Whalers able to extend out that defense. Pass goes all the way through into Ella Douglas. And she gets it to Maya Johnson. Johnson gets the corner. Good spot for Louisa Benny. Johnson circles back, gives it up to Benny. Benny sprints it towards the middle of the field. Good pass to Grace Hanlon amongst 4 defenders, however. And the Whalers will draw a whistle. Under 9 minutes to play officially. Whalers with the ball and the lead, 12-5. And once again, words back from Monomoy. I don't know why they're able to talk to the referees like that. But it earns them a possession here. Let's see if they can clear it. Bit of a Gilman Hail Mary here, well ahead of the offense. Maya Johnson able to scoop right along. Gets a little smack to the head, no call. But the Whalers able to overcome and get possession back in. Here's Hanlon. Makes a run to the eights, backs it out. And an errant pass will turn it over as Monomoy will put it in here, looking to clear. Intercepted. Grudzicki down on the ground. Grudzicki forces the Whaler down on the ground, but here's Mason Lower. So good job by the Whalers to force the turnover on the clear attempt. Shot goes wide, and good hustle by the goaltender there to gain the possession. Morgan Willis. Under 7 minutes to play officially. As the pass goes through, nice catch along the sideline there. And here's Paige Nash in transition. Pass is tipped, she gets it right back. Nicely done, good concentration by Nash. She whips a shot and scores. Good individual effort by Paige Nash. Stuck with it after the pass was deflected, gathered it out of midair and was able to make a quick move and fire off a shot that gets past Douglas. So the Whalers lead now cut to 6 with 6:22 to play here in the fourth. 12-6 our score. Whalers still in control here, up 6. But the energy has not lacked from the Monomoy side of things, as they can quickly turn defense into offense, but it starts here at the X. Ball down. Hanlon able to get to it. So Grace Hanlon will put it in. Louisa Benny gains the zone, and the Whalers can go to business here on offense. Perhaps play a little keep away with a 6-goal lead. Benny circles back. Here's Damian. Claire Genthner. Tough pass. And the Whalers get it to Lower. There's Genthner. Good aggressive cradle. Pairing her behind the net. Nice cut. Here's a good move, aggressive move, gets ham bone. Oh, absolutely crushed, and it looked like a hit to the face. We'll hope Grace is okay there. So it will be an opportunity from the 8s for the Whalers. Clock starts, 5:20. Hanlon, shot, save made. Second shot by Damian, finds the net. Great stick-to-itiveness by the Whalers. Again, good concentration by Dylan Damian, number 21. Gathers the rebound and slaps it home. Whalers add another one here, 13-6 now with just over 5 minutes left. It looks like Mason Lower will take the draw here for the Whalers. 13-goal score by Nantucket. Impressive that it was an 8-4 final off island between these two teams. So a 7-goal lead is huge for Nantucket. Grodzicki able to slap it forward, but the Whalers come away with it. Sophia Sullivan and scooping it. And getting the call is Nantucket. Coach Lower trying to get timeout, and she will get one with 4:46 to play. So the Whalers hang on to the possession, and we'll chat it up a little bit here for the next 30 seconds. Up 7 goals on a gray afternoon here on a Monday here in May. Thanks for having us along. Hopefully everybody had a nice, safe wine festival weekend and a lot of folks around the island. You can already see the traffic gaining on us, especially around the rotaries, and still some of that road work happening around the island. So be safe out there. And smart as we continue to finish out the regular season of play here. Again, we've got a broadcast on Wednesday. As long as the weather holds, we're going to try and get both baseball and lacrosse on simultaneously, a little simulcast. Then Thursday, the boys will finish up their season against Boston Latin. And then Friday, Saturday, the girls take over play, finishing up their regular season against St. John Paul and the Vineyard on Memorial Day Saturday. Hard to believe, Memorial Day this weekend coming up. Yikes. Are you ready? I'm not. So the Whalers looking to finish strong here, up 7 goals with 4:46 to play. The Whalers call timeout with possession, so they will put it in play and look to add to their 7-goal lead. It's Mason Lower. Off the stick of Hanlon, but Lower able to recover on the bounce. Good screen by Benny. No advantage gain. Good face guard by the Monomoy defender. And Benny gets it here on the right side. Whalers can, again, use the clock here as they have a 7-goal lead. Good hustle by Louisa Benny. Gives it up to Hanlon. Tip pass. Damon able to scoop, however. Nice catch. Perriner able to turn the corner. She gets through 2 defenders. And Lower. Again, good ball movement by Nantucket. And good patience shown by Nantucket, playing with a 7-goal lead. Approaching 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Here's Hanlon with an advantage. She gets through another shot. Oh, good save. But the Whalers able to stay with it. Carly Ray. As the Whalers get a play called out. Ball down, quickly scooped up. Under 3 minutes to play here now, as the Whalers have used this possession to dwindle down that clock a little bit, as it is their best friend right now. Lower avoids one, avoids another, powers through, and finally loses it. Unable to get a shot off, but retains possession. It's a third opportunity for Nantucket. Perriner scores! Clock will stop at 2:28 officially, and the Whalers notch another goal, extending that lead to 8 at 14-6. I've got Suze with 2 goals on the afternoon. More important, a little bit of cushion on that all-important 7-goal win for the max points as we get into the numbers game of postseason seedings. This will be a quality win for the Whalers as the Sharks are number 11 in Division 4. A potential playoff matchup here as once again the Whalers have dominated the X and have had more opportunities on offense. Tick-tock, approaching 2 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Win number 11. Well within hand. Here's another run through. Jarred loose, but the Whalers unable to scoop, so here comes the Sharks trying to get it clear. Quickly up, they get it to Grodzicki. She switches hands nicely to the left and gains the zone. Good screen, good communication by the Whalers on defense. As we're down to a minute and a half. Loose ball. And saved nicely, but Johnson able to scoop, and she is on the run quickly. Tough pass handled by Benny. She switches to the right and gets it up to Suze Perriner, who gains the zone, and the Whalers can just use the clock here and run it out with just over a minute to play. Great sprint, just great athleticism by the Whalers there on transition. Able to use the sideline nicely and well placed. Genthner loses it and unable to recover. But we are under a minute to play here as the Whalers close in on win number 11 here in the regular season. They've done it in dominating fashion, controlling the X, and the defense has played solid once again as Grodzicki sprints through. Save by Douglas! Looked like that was in the crease, no whistle as the dust flies from the middle of that field, and out of it comes Carly Ray with the ball. 15 seconds left in the game. Whalers on the run. Genthner with 10 seconds. Let's see if she just tries to run it out or whether she'll get a shot off. She will not get a shot off as the clock stops with 3 seconds to go. And that'll do it, kids. The Whalers win game number 11 in convincing fashion. They win by 8 goals. And the final from Vito Capizzo Stadium is 14-6. Again, you can join us again on Wednesday for our next broadcast. If the weather holds, we'll be doing a simulcast of both baseball and boys lacrosse as the boys will host Cape Tech on the Diamond, and Monomoy pays us a visit for their annual trip over to Vito Capizzo Stadium as the lacrosse guys finish up their regular season. They will do so on Thursday against Boston Latin. Then St. John Paul comes over on Friday to face the girls, and the Vineyard on Saturday for the senior game. A full week of action here on the NSC and NCTV. Got to give a huge thanks to Weston Scott for your eyes on the field, and of course Sean Davis for getting things set up here. I'm going to take it off the air for today. Whalers Nation, our Whalers notch another win, win number 11 in convincing fashion, 14-6 over the Sharks. Thanks again for joining us here. Have a great evening, Whalers Nation.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSE provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit myricklaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast. The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children.